Welcome to Growing Belleville Through Community Chats, a podcast presented by the Greater Belleville Chamber of Commerce to help highlight, promote, and enlighten people, businesses, and community events in the Greater Belleville area. Here are your hosts, Stephen Sedlak and Eric Huber.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Growing Belleville Through Community Chats. I'm your co-host, Stephen Sedlak, along with the incomparable Mr. Eric Huber. How are we, Eric?
Doing well, Stephen. As we were discussing before, busy time is approaching. All the golf tournaments we were just discussing that we just have to play in, gotta make time for those now.
It's a necessity if you're in the banking industry or the insurance industry. You have to go to the golf tournaments. So I agree. Well, today we have Bennie Parr from Bennies Pizza Pub in downtown Belleville. How are you today, Bennie?
I'm great. How about you guys?
Good. Well, like I said before we hopped on here, why don't you kind of give a quick overview of yourself, the 10,000-foot overview, if you will.
For sure. I'm Bennie Parr. I own Bennie's Pizza Pub in downtown Belleville. We're just keeping up on our 5-year anniversary, and we do pizza by the slice, full pizzas. We have party space. Kind of do it all here.
Now, you were saying, right, you're coming up on your 5th year here, and you're having a 5th-year anniversary party on May 13th, correct?
Yes, we're going to do a block party. So we're going to close down the street in front of the Pizza Pub, and we wanted it to be a community event, so we're going to do some things that kind of tie that in. We're going to have a dump tank. I think we're still looking for some people to get dumped if either you are free.
You sure you don't want a leprechaun? I know Scott has one available.
Yeah.
Direction. So we'll see. So we're going to have hopefully some local celebrities going in, getting dumped for Humane Society, raising money for those guys.
Okay.
Bounce houses. We're gonna have live music out here and just all kinds of fun things. Like I said, to kind of give back to the community a little bit, who's given us so much.
Yeah, me and Eric always touch on this all the time. Is just anytime an event downtown Belleville, we're always for it. We love events downtown Belleville. We love anything to bring business to. And I know you guys down there are very, very good with helping other businesses. So bringing people down for any reason whatsoever is a great thing for not just you guys, but everybody down in that area. So that should be a good time. What are the hours the party will go on?
So the party's going to kick off at 2:30. It's going to go to about 8:30. We'll have a little live music from 3 to 5. That's going to be up all night. Be playing on the main seats here, and then we'll have Feeling This, which is a Blink-182 cover band, and they'll be playing 6 to 8.
Okay.
Nice. Now, 2:30 is a little later in the day. Are you guys going to still be serving your signature Bloody Marys that late, or I see that on the top shelf there?
Those every day, all day, anytime you come in at 1 o'clock in the morning, you got it.
Now, if you're on podcast, you're not seeing this on YouTube, or if you haven't had one, I mean, they got the ginormous slice of pizza on top of a Bloody Mary.
It's got the whole works there. It's got bacon, the skewer, pickles, all kinds of good stuff. You definitely won't go away hungry.
Yeah, it's a meal and a drink, right? Well, good. Well, why don't you kind of touch on, like you said, you're coming up on 5 years. What was your inspiration for going down this path? Of course, it was well before 5 years ago because I know all the prep work it takes to get things going. But, what was it that made you decide to want to kind of go down this path and go from there?
For sure. So I don't know if you guys know much about my background, but I was in roller skating for 26 years. Local skating fun spot in Belleville. I was there for years. Went through some life changes. Went and opened up another skating center in Troy, Illinois, for Parks and Rec there. With that team doing it in, I'd always kind of wanted to do this, and I had dreamt about it and kind of had all the pieces together. And when I lost my job at that, they dissolved my position and was like, man, what are we going to do? And I thought, man, I could just take a chance on myself. Believe it or not, one of the people I pitched my idea to was Scott from Big Daddy's. Because he keeps it real. And if it was a
He does.
crazy idea, he'd say, hey, if you be all crazy. But some encouragement from him, I went ahead and did it. I think it was even bigger than I explained it to, but I think it was bigger than he imagined. And as we were building out, he was in the shop every day going, oh my God, like, okay, I didn't realize you were going to do this. I didn't want I'm just going to do that. And then we just thrived. I mean, the day we opened, we were like, oh my gosh, this is a bigger success than we ever thought it would be. In the first week that we were open, we sold 3,000 slices of pizzas and another 100 pies on top of that. We were frantically saying, we need more equipment, we need more space, and we actually ran out of pizza on that 7th day. So on that Saturday, we ran out, and I was so panicked, like, what are we going to do? But we just owned it. We took a picture, posted on Facebook, said, hey, ran out, thank you, I'll see you today. And it was such a great response. And then for another month, people were calling saying, do you still have pizza? Still pizza? Kind of show that we were a force to be reckoned with. We did have some good product and a good space. And then through the pandemic, we only got stronger, bigger, and we didn't do carry out. I was very concerned about quality of food when it leaves.
Sure.
So we implemented carry out when that's all that we could do, and we were busier than we ever were. And then as they started opening things up, we realized the space that we were in was just way too small. So we immediately started looking around, and we found the old Red Co. that was directly across the street. That ended up being the most perfect space we could have ever wanted.
Yeah. No, I remember I enjoyed your old space as well. It was, quaint and cozy. I bellied up at the bar for a slice of pizza and beer a few nights on my way out of town. And but the new space is just as inviting, and the atmosphere is carried over as well. So kudos to you on that, because it's not always an easy task for some restaurants to carry that atmosphere over, and you've done a good job with that.
I appreciate it. I always say that you gotta understand who you are and never lose track of that. And when we were moving, some people said, oh, you can just put this there. And I go, no, it has to be authentic. Like, if we're going to do it, that's why we peeled all the layers of plaster back to bring the brick out, to give you that authentic feel and that warm environment.
How long were you in the old location? Was that just over 2 years?
So, so we were like, 3 years. We just came on our anniversary at the new space. We've been here for 2 years. So
okay.
we started our build out here about 2.5 years in.
Okay.
Benny, what I want you to go back, because you mentioned something, and when we have Scott on, obviously you can just feel the energy and obviously the camaraderie with the business owners down there. I mean, you talked about how he kind of was a mentor to you to take that leap of faith, but, the other businesses down there, when you guys shut down the streets and everything, what's that like, dealing with the other business owners down there? How big is it for you, or, any piece of advice that you have for anybody looking downtown Belleville?
They kind of say, when you're raising kids or have a business, they say it takes a village, and it truly does. I mean, we're all, we're pretty close down here. We're like brothers and sisters, so we may have little tips, but we always figure out how to work it out. But even, through the pandemic, when that happened, I know that a lot of the retail was stocked up on merchandise. So like Beach Popcorn was stocked up on merchandise, and then the parade got canceled. They have a store full of popcorn that's going to go to waste because they're closed. So I went to them and said, hey, if you want to bring some of your product down, we'll sell it to go. So we started doing that, and Dave was like, man, we're selling more popcorn through your carry out and your pizza. He's like, let's just keep doing this. And then the ice cream shop, Crafty and Sugar, came down and said, hey, can you do the same thing for me? So then we were selling ice cream, popcorn, pizza. And I think that's the kind of thing that we have to do. Like, we work together on the events. We all go shoulder to shoulder and promote events and promote downtown. And if you look at any one of our Facebooks, we're always promoting somebody else, not just ourselves, because it's important.
Yeah. And I know me and Eric have touched on this many times before, is that you guys do work hand in hand. And I think you guys see the value in, if they're successful, we can thrive from that as well too. And that's no more relevant whenever we have events downtown, chili cook-off, Oktoberfest, whatever, Bee Shriners Parade, whatever. I think that sense of community that you guys have is something some other industries could probably take a lesson from, to be completely honest with you.
For sure. And I think you have to go into it thinking there is no competition. Like there are other restaurants, other bars, other clubs down here, but we're not in direct competition. I know that you guys aren't going to eat at Bennies every single day, but I hope they eat downtown 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, whether it's Bennies or somebody else's, because it just means, and years ago or whenever, when Fairview and all that was happening and there wasn't much going on down here, you would say, where we're going to go to eat. It was always, let's go to Fairview. Let's go here. I think it's getting more back. And I think as bad as the pandemic was, I think that's helped redirect us back to our roots. I mean, now you hear people say, oh, where do you want to go to eat? Let's go downtown Belleville. We have choices there. We can go there. So I think, us all working together and all that brings that here. It brings choices, and we're more of a destination. So you come here and you can park your car and walk 4, 5, 6 blocks and find what you want.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because, we have our insurance carriers, our reps come in and they want to take us out to lunch every once in a while. And it is a point where we say, all right, let's go down to downtown Belleville. Let's go to Tavra, or let's go to, we went to Lexi's BFF, last week as well too. There are a lot of options, and that is our first choice these days, where when somebody comes in, especially if they are newer, we like to show them our town, right? Because all of our reps they're not all from this area. Some are St. Louis, some are Chicago, Springfield. So they're making their rounds down south. So there's that sense of pride of Belleville and downtown, and we like to show it off. And there's plenty of choices for everybody downtown for anything you want to get.
Agreed.
Well, I think you guys do, I would assume you guys talk about it when new businesses come in, or talk about new businesses come again. I think, the Main Street group has done a great job with just how diverse, the different places are. I mean, everyone's got their own little, own vibes, obviously different foods, some more laid back than others. I think there's a great mix down there. Like you said, you can stop at one place for a couple hours, you can move down the road and sit there for another hour or two and move on to the next place, and not have the same type of atmosphere at each one of those places.
Talked about new businesses being interested in coming down here, or coming, I think you'd be surprised how many people come in and oh, I have an idea. And they pitch us, super high. When I was over at the old place, she came in and said, hey, I'm in the same situation you were in. I really want to do this. What are some tips? And we really go above and beyond to show everybody. So I always say I want to do business with people that are kind of that same mindset, where they're in to help out. They're part of our team. So most of the reps and stuff that we deal with are people that we trust and whatever. So we share there. So I'm like, sugar high. Hey, here's my food rep. Here's the guy that's going to sell you all your paper products, and so we kind of use those circles to boost everybody up and kind of help them, give them guidance. Like I said, Scott gave me advice, but then he literally grabbed me one day by the arm and said, come with me. It was in the early stages of planning, and he drags me into economic development office. It introduces me. We have no appointment. And we fun look, Scott.
Of course not.
Dragging me by the arm in economic development. We're in the back office, and they're just like, okay, yeah, come on in, got it. So that's kind of, I like that if people need help. I get calls all the time like, hey, what should I do? This is my first shoehorn. Which they said, hey, we don't know what to expect for St. Patrick's Day. What do you think we need? So I think that just really, I mean, that's part of why I love it so much. I was born and raised here, but just that teamwork really makes you just want to stay here and not.
Yeah, I want to hit on that point because you said something earlier as well too, right? You said that you're at a stage where it was like, well, if I'm going to try this, now's the time to kind of try it aspect, right? And I remember this was a couple of weeks ago. I saw a video somewhere, and it was actually Steve Harvey, actually, I think after one of his shows. And I guess he gives like a monologue to his audience when he's done with the show or whatever. But he said something along the lines of like, the most successful people in this world are the ones that take risks. They go out on their own. But to get to that, jump off that cliff isn't easy. And sometimes you need some help and some nudging to get you off that cliff. Would you say that was kind of something similar where you were at? You really liked the idea, but weren't 100% sold if you should take that chance?
For sure. 10 years ago when I kind of went through that life change, some things changed in my life. And I was, looking at leaving, the skating center. 10 years ago, or 11 years ago, I was going to do it back then. There was a spot open, a building owner that was taking me under their wing saying, hey, you can do this, you could do this. And I chickened out, and I went on to do, I opened the other skating center because I was comfortable with that. This time around, when I came back, I went to Scott and I were a lot closer at that point. And I just said, hey, man, I got an idea to pitch to you. And honestly, the first time I pitched it to him, he shrugged his shoulders like he didn't know. And I'd asked another friend that said, yes, you should do this. A couple of days later, my friend calls me back and says, no, you shouldn't do it. It's too scary. Don't do it. It's too big of a risk. And within another day, Scott called me and said, hey, Bennie, are you going to do this or what? And I said, I don't know, Scott. Maybe I just need to get a real job. And he said, do you want to do that? I think at the time I was applying to be a warehouse manager. He goes, Bennie, do you want to be a warehouse manager? I go, no, Scott, I do not. He goes, you'll hate it. And, I decided to take some money out of my retirement and invest in myself. He goes, you got the money to do it. He goes, what better time to make a decision like this than when you're in limbo? And he said, if you fail, you're going to get back up on your 2 feet just like you always do. He goes, but you're not going to fail. Those were the magic words. And I think that's what the rest of us do for newcomers coming in. Like, there is no room for failure. You got to look at it like it's not, there just isn't any chance that it's going to fail. We just got to push forward. I had a friend that kept coming to me saying, well, what about this? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I go, hey, look, you keep bringing me problems, and right now all I need is solutions. So I think you definitely have to get in that mindset. But I speak to a lot of school-aged kids. They go and talk about owning a business and taking that jump. I tell all the kids, like, dream big, because I was grew up super poor. Started working when I was 10 years old. And to imagine that I've kind of gotten to this, to me, this is success. This is it for me. I'm happy. I never wanted to have a huge place this big or this successful. I just wanted to create a job for myself, but it turned into so much more just because I took that leap.
Yeah, I think, like you said, you were scared to do it. You did it. Then COVID hit, which I'm sure made you re-question if you made the right choice, right? And now here you are in a bigger location because you have been so successful and you needed the new space. What is it that you attribute, your success to when it comes to, Bennie's Pizza Pub? What is it that has driven you to the level that you're at now with the success?
I would say there's lots of things. Definitely the community coming in and really just, because I'm a Belleville person, I knew a lot of people. We could have just survived and made it with all the people that I've had over the years through the roller skating, things like that. So it's definitely the community and our customer base. I think we put out a great product. I think we have, great customer service, that warm, inviting atmosphere. And then I do believe that I love and drive for this. And, one of the other things that kind of drives me in this business and pushing forward is, my name is Bennie, but I was born on my dad's birthday and named after my dad. My dad passed away about 19 years ago from cancer. And so when I did this, I didn't name the business after myself. I named it in honor of my dad. There's a picture of my dad hanging in, it was in both restaurants, big picture. And then everything that says Bennies is my dad's actual signature. We were able to have
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
signature and do it in a certain way so it didn't lose the truth of what it is, his signature. And even the B on the hat is my dad's actual B. This up here is my dad's actual signature. So every day when I put my shirt on and I come in, I'm doing it for more than just selling pizza. And I tell my staff, we're not just selling pizza. We're selling an environment. We're selling mood and an atmosphere. And I think all of those things that I mentioned is what makes us successful. And I think when people, find out, I don't tell everybody the story about my dad and the signature and all that. But every time I see somebody buy a hat or a T-shirt, I go up and personally try to thank them. If I see them buying it, let them know, thanks. Like, you have no idea. Truly appreciate you doing this. And I think that comes out, and I think that makes people want to support you either.
Yeah, I think that's a credible tribute to your dad, to be honest with you, and kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's why we do this, I think. I mean, obviously promoting local, and you just don't get those stories when you're purchasing some on Amazon. It shows up on your door 2 days later. I mean, it doesn't happen. And it's, I think, even in my own world, as bad as COVID was probably for some people and businesses and families and whatnot, I think you mentioned it earlier. I think it kind of brought people back to roots and back to where you grew up and downtown, and back to shaking hands with people and talking people face to face rather than text message and email and everything. So, no, that's a cool story about the signature with your dad, and I think that's an amazing touch that hopefully people hear and recognize.
For sure. And it's like it's crazy how tragedy kind of recenters us and brings us back. In any way, shape, or form when tragedy happens. So like with the pandemic, it definitely recentered us. And I love to see that. I'm sad that people lost their lives and if people lost their business through it. But, there was a lot of good that came out as well. It kind of, gave us a new direction.
I agree. Well, I know you said it's not about the food and the pizza, but let's be honest, the pizza and the food is delicious. I live over in St. Louis there. I live over in Webster and Glendale area, and our neighbors, I'd eaten there. My wife had eaten there before. Our neighbors saw, I can't remember what it was, some morning news that you were on or something like that, or something on Facebook. I can't remember. And she said, holy crap. She goes, why haven't you told me about this place? So last summer they came over, and now, of course, I think it was the crab rangoon pizza that caught her attention. So now, I need to, literally at least once or twice a month, I have to pick up pizza to bring back to my neighbors and my family. So, but that said, it brought that into pizza's good. So kind of, I mentioned the crab rangoon pizza. You got other ones that are kind of, if you will, off the wall, that people wouldn't normally think of. So where's your inspiration? How do you kind of come up with these ideas?
So, used to be a lot of me, and I had a couple of people that would throw ideas. My daughter, we have 4 kids, so all of our kids kind of throw stuff at us. Staff does a lot these days. Staff are always fighting for who gets the next featured pizza. But too bad you guys aren't here because I had some pizza that you could totally check out, try. But so I brought up from our wild crazy once, which was like the crab rangoon pizza. And then this week is a loaded mac and cheese, so it has bacon and jalapenos on it. And then our Hawaiian hog pizza. But we are constantly searching for inspiration for different things. We also have a suggestion box for people to drop in. But there were some of the heavy hitters like the crab rangoon, which there's an incredible story behind that one and how it became to get on our menu. But my daughter was like, Dad, you have to do this crab rangoon pizza. She's seen something somewhere. So I kept saying, nobody wants that. I eventually did it. And was incredible. Like, it was in the middle of the pandemic. We were already busy. We brought this pizza out, and it sold out in a matter of hours. And we're like, okay. So then it went away, and everybody was like, oh, it was so awesome. Want it back. Other people were like, I didn't get a chance to try it. So 2 weeks later, we brought it back again. We ordered double the product, sold out again in like a day and a half. And then we ended up putting it back on the menu. And if you look at our reviews, you'll see that pizza come up time and time again, just because it is different, but it does work. Just like mac and cheese pizza.
Right.
It's another great one that it just kind of works. And that's why I'm a foodie at Parr. And so to do weird things and put weird things on pizza is just kind of cool, because you can get away with it for the most part. I do get those people, and I'm not sure where you guys stand on this. There are some people that say you don't put fruit or pineapples on pizza. It's huge thing.
I do, and I do like a good pineapple on with some ham. I'm one of those. So agreed. I don't think there's many limitations, and we really went out on some limits. So you asked about it. Inspiration, it's just random all the time. Like, I look through magazines and I'll get inspiration from that. People come in. I think it was 2 years ago around Thanksgiving. Somebody said you have to do a green bean casserole pizza. I know the look on your face is kind of the same that was on mine. And they said that on TikTok there was this pizza that came out, and they had it at Aldi's, and Aldi's couldn't keep it in stock. So I'm like, okay, look, I'll try my luck. So we tried it, and it was a great turnout. I can't say it's my favorite pizza, but I always say when people ask, hey, how did that pizza do? And I go, hey, look, it's not always about selling a ton of pizzas, but if we can get you interested by putting a wild pizza up there, we want them all to be great, favorite. But let's be honest, pizza and food is very personal to us all. Okay, so maybe you like thin crust, thick crust, spicy, sweet. There's all these different things, and we had to go an avenue that everybody would like. But also, let's be honest, is there really I don't know that I've ever had a bad pizza. There are some that I'm not fond of, but if you put any pizza in front of me, I'll eat it. Oh, that's me too. I'm 100% a pizza guy at heart. I was actually at the St. Louis SC game last night, and they have Pizza Guy as one of the vendors over there. And I walked by. I wasn't even hungry, and I walked by there, and I smelled it, and I got in line and got a slice of pizza, because I'm like, there's pizza, and it's that smelling good. I got to have it, okay?
Right. Well, definitely turn away any pizza. And I think that's why it's also it was a good business and a good thing for us, because we can do the traditional stuff, and we do that really, really well. Pepperoni pizza is the best-selling pizza all time. Like, it beats any pizza hands down. But then when you set that aside and you look at, featured pizzas and things like that, they sometimes they're neck and neck on who's winning this week or next week. But we have some pretty good heavy hitters, and like I said, we try to do something for everyone. Well, we also try to throw those random ones in to make the scratch or that. Like, what? You should go check that out.
Yeah, you got to drive the people in, and that's the way to do it, right? And honestly, my neighbor and my wife, when they came in to try the crab rangoon, they tried the buffalo chicken one as well too, and that is probably one of their favorite pizzas they've ever had, and I bring that home too. That's a winner in our house for sure.
Who would have ever thought of putting cream cheese on a pizza? Not me.
Yeah,
not my entire life. We're through suggestions and us messing with ideas, and now we want 3, 4, 5 pizzas that we put cream cheese on, and it just works. So.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
Bring those food favorites that people like crab rangoon or buffalo chicken, and you could come up with the right combination and put it on a pizza. I think it's just as good, if not better. Like you said, we're pizza guys. I eat at pizza restaurants all over. I probably get straight looks when I go in there. People are like, "Did you run out of pizza? What's going on?" Like, I just love pizza. Like, I'll eat.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna say you're turning into kind of the Pappy's barbecue of pizza. You know, you got to get there by noon before you're done by 5. You know.
Take that.
Yeah. Now, I was to say, you know, the fact that you kind of have these off the wall pizzas, I think that just brings to the atmosphere that you've created there as well too. So it all just meshes very, very well, and it's a great spot. It's a good patio weather. It's a day like today, this week. Everything in general about what you have done and what you've built is admirable for sure.
I appreciate it.
Well, look, we want to be respectful of your time here. We're a little over 30 minutes or so. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way? Facebook, email, what, you know, check out menu items that might not have been in before. What's the best way to check you guys out?
For sure. If you check us out on Facebook or BenniesPizzaPub.com, it'll have all that. We're in the midst of revamping our website, so it'll be easier to find out what's happening. Band listings and all those things, and featured pizzas and merchandise and all that good stuff. But either of those two places are a great spot. But what's even better is just stop by and check us out. Once you come in and get those smells, like that's the best way to figure out what you want there. But it also, we just on there, we just started a catering menu that has some hidden items on there. So we don't offer a chicken wing to the general public, but we do offer it for catering, and it's a very good baked wing. We have some other things, pretzel bites that aren't on the regular menu, and we are working on a secret for some secret pizzas and things like that. So that'll be coming soon, and you'll only be able to get things off that secret menu if you know about it. That could be happening. We have like I said, you'll be able to see all that. And one of the new heavy hitters on our menu is a biscuits and gravy style. You definitely have to check out the website, look at all the featured pizzas and things on there.
Which I'm sure that biscuits and gravy pizza goes very good with those Bloody Marys.
I tell you what, I always tell people, if you want to get weird, you put grape jelly on that biscuits and gravy pizza, that sends you to a different world. Like it's
Absolutely. Grape jelly on a breakfast sandwich is my go-to.
I do that too.
My dad is from the South, so everything you cooked with sugar. So you would put sugar and corn, green beans, whatever. So why not put some sweet grape jelly on your biscuits and gravy?
Perfect. Well, hey, kudos. Congratulations on the 5 years of tremendous success so far. And cheers to many, many more years for you. You've built a very well-established restaurant in downtown Belleville that you should be proud of.
Yeah. Good work, Benny.
Truly appreciate it. Appreciate your time and having us on today and helping promote us.
Absolutely. Anytime. We're that's what we're here for. So, and we get the little backstories like the name and the signature of your dad. So those are always caveats that I know me and Eric love to get. So we appreciate that.
Yep.
All righty. Well, thank you once again.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
See you, Benny.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Growing Belleville Through Community Chats podcast. Please remember to follow and subscribe to this podcast and share with your friends and community leaders. For additional information from this podcast, please reach out to the Greater Belleville Chamber of Commerce.